He walked a very fine line between respecting the decorum on this day of remembrance and making a pitch for new projects between France and Germany. And so the reason why he didn't get into too many specifics is because this simply wasn't the time or place for him to get into specifics about new financial instruments within the Eurozone, the creation of a Eurozone budget, for instance, or the particulars of European defense cooperation. I think it was understood that the subtext of why we need to do all these new things is because of all the war debt. It didn't need to be said explicitly. In a sense, this was the perfect venue for Macron to appeal to the Germans' sense of let's do things together with France. France helped us get out of international isolation, out of the opprobrium that crushed our nation after the Second World War. I think, like your previous guest was saying, what actually Germany can do will depend on what goes on within Angela Merkel's Christian Democratic Union. The people who are looking to take the post that she has just announced she will give up after 18 years are by and large very pro-European. There's no Eurosceptic who's likely to take over. The other partner she needs to worry about in her governing coalition, the Social Democratic Party, is undergoing all kinds of problems, but by and large, it is largely a pro-European party. There are no Eurosceptic wings within the Social Democratic Party, if you will. It's interesting to note, though, that the way the German Chancellor works is before she goes to Brussels and asks for new things, unlike many other European countries, she needs to consult or at least inform Parliament. So what the parliamentarians think is important, and Macron speaking to them, therefore, was important if he wants his projects to come to be.
And Nick, very briefly, of course, Macron's visit there in the German capital this Sunday does continue a little later. Talk us through what's in store for the French president in the rest of the day.
Well, what he did earlier in the day, of course, was to lay a wreath, to meet with some young people from the l'Office Franco-German de la Jeunesse, which is a Franco-German youth organization that was created after the Second World War by Konrad Adenauer and the General de Gaulle, in the idea of getting a generation of young French and German people to learn each other's language and to build peace that way. So they came up with 100 ideas for peace, which he heard. He's going to continue his speech or finish up his speech in the Bundestag if he hasn't done so already. And then there will be an encounter with the press with Angela Merkel at which statements will be read but questions will not be answered. So we're not really looking for any big new news flash, if you will. We know that on Friday, Bruno Le Maire in France, one of the government ministers, announced the outline of a Eurozone budget. I think we'll hear more about that when Macron and Merkel go to Brussels on Monday and actually make the pitch to the European colleagues.